So it's that time of the year again to talk about the best movies of 2013. Now, I've seen about 84 movies this year, 67 in the theater and about 17 at home, on demand and on Netflix. And this is the most movies I've seen in a year. And it's been a decent year for movies, more so towards the end, but definitely the smaller budget movies dominated this year. Now, first things first, this is the movies I enjoyed the most of 2013. So just because I rated a movie 5 out of 5 doesn't mean it's going to make my top list. For example, I gave Gravity 5 out of 5, but it may not be in my top 5. I may have another movie that I rated 4 higher than Gravity. So, regardless of rating, these are my favorite movies that I enjoyed the most of 2013. Now, before we get into my top 10, these are my honorable mentions that didn't make the top 10 cut. Coming in at number 15 is Warm Bodies. Number 14, The Kings of Summer. Number 13, Side Effects. Number 12, Nebraska. And number 11, Terence. So those were my honorable mentions. Now, before I start my top 10, if you want to see the reviews of my top 10, just click the poster right there and you see the reviews that I did for them. So now let's begin my top favorite movies of 2013. Coming in at number 10, Star Trek Into Darkness. I thought J.J. Abrams did an excellent job in making Star Trek Into Darkness. I thought Star Trek Into Darkness was one of the summer blockbusters that actually lived up to the hype. Other than Man of Steel and Iron Man 3, which I loved, but Star Trek Into Darkness, I think, was one of the movies that had less criticism than those two other movies. And I thought J.J. Abrams did a good job of playing homage to the original Star Trek franchise. And I can't wait what he'll do for Star Wars, because I think he's the perfect choice to do that particular franchise, because he knows science fiction and he knows space. Now, coming in at number 9, we got The Spectacular Now. This movie is a combination of 500 Days of Summer blended with 16 Candles. Well acted by Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley and even Kyle Chandler. I thought this movie was fantastic. And Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley had great chemistry on screen together. I thought this movie was really realistic of how kids think nowadays. Moving into number 8, Gravity. Gravity is one of those movies that if you thought about being an astronaut, after seeing this movie, you gave it a second thought. It was just so amazing. The special effects were great. After watching this movie, you kept on asking yourself, how was that done? The special effects were astounding. And I definitely see Gravity winning all the special effects awards this year. It's hands down one of the best science fiction movies of this year. Now, coming in at number 7 is Rush. I absolutely love this movie. I went to go see it in limited release, and I had to wait an hour and a half just to see it because I got sold out. And it was well worth the wait. Ron Howard put you in the driver's seat in this movie. You actually felt a part of the movie. Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Bruhl pretty much showed their rivalry on and off screen because they challenged each other as far as characters and as far as actors, because they both gave 2 phenomenal performances this year. They may not get nominated, maybe Daniel Bruhl, but they both gave great acting. Rush is definitely one of my favorite movies of this year. Now, moving on to number 6, Saving Mr. Banks. Yes, it's a Disney movie. Did they sell you on a light-hearted Disney movie? Yeah, they did, and I brought it, and I loved it. And I thought that Tom Hanks, Emma Thompson, and Colin Farrell did all great jobs. More so Emma Thompson and Colin Farrell, because Emma Thompson gave one of the best performances this year from a female that I've seen. And Colin Farrell gave one of the best performances I've seen of his career. And all 3 actors gave the movie heart. Some people may complain about Tom Hanks, but I thought he did a solid, decent job with his performance throughout the movie. It was definitely a good family movie. Now, moving on to my top 5. My number 5 movie of the year is The Way Back. Definitely one of my favorite coming-of-age movies of this year. I thought this movie was very relatable as far as the dynamics of a family when a new person comes into the family. I thought it was really realistic when it came to that note. And all the acting was great. Especially Sam Rockwell. I think Sam Rockwell stole the show, and I really wish he gets into more movies because this guy is really talented and underrated. If you haven't seen none of his work, definitely check out Moon. But he was definitely great in this movie. Along with Steve Carell, which I think is a different change of pace for him because he's playing a serious jerk role, and he fit it to a T. And I would like to see him do more of that type of stuff. He was great in it. And along with Liam James, even though he was a little wooden, but I still enjoyed his performance for the most part. Definitely a good coming-of-age movie. Coming in at number 4, The Wolf of Wall Street. I said this before and I say it again. This is the craziest Martin Scorsese movie you would ever see. I put money on that he can never top how crazy this movie would be. And think about it more and more, I really hope that Leonardo DiCaprio gets nominated. He may not win though, but I really do, because his performance was great. Because for an actor to carry the movie for 3 solid hours and you don't feel bored by it, definitely deserves a nomination. He may not get it because of the movie itself and how explicit this movie is, but he definitely deserves a nomination. It may not be Martin Scorsese's best movie, but definitely one of the craziest eccentric movies that you'll see from Martin Scorsese. Now, coming in at number 3, Fruitvale Station. This movie just impacted me the most. I mean, wow. I mean, this is one of the movies that you really can't rewatch again because it just hits you like a ton of bricks. Michael B. Jordan gave the performance of his career. He was just so great in this movie, along with Octavia Spencer. But Michael B. Jordan, this guy is a star in the making. This is his coming out performance. He just gave every heart and soul into his performance here, and you felt it through the screen. And it's a shame that he didn't get nominated at the Golden Globes or at the Critics' Choice Award, because he definitely deserves to be nominated along with the best, because he gave a phenomenal performance. Definitely one of those heartbreaking movies that you cannot rewatch again. It's just that groundbreaking. And Ryan Coogler, who was a first-time director, did a phenomenal job. And definitely, I think Fruitvale Station should get nominated for at least Best Picture. It may not get it, but it deserves to be nominated because it's just that powerful. Now, moving in at number 2. Now, this movie was at my number 1 for the longest, and that's Mud. Mud is one of those great coming-of-age movies this year. I love every minute of it. And this movie rivals the best coming-of-age movies ever of all time. Jeff Nichols did a phenomenal job with the script, where it had so much layers between love, relationships, and growing up. And also got a great performance from all its actors, especially Matthew McConaughey. This is his best performance of this year. Now, he did a good job in Dallas Buyers Club, but this is his performance I think he should get nominated for Best Actor, because he was just so grounded, where you just notice the subtleties of his performance. And not only did Matthew McConaughey give a great performance, but even Ty Sheridan, for a kid his age, to handle himself as far as acting in this movie. He's very believable, and I definitely see him being in more movies and definitely getting nominated in the future when he gets older. The sky is the limit for him, definitely. Now, coming in at my number 1, this movie came in at the buzzer beater because, like I said before, Mud for months on end was my number 1 movie of the year. But this movie just swooped in at the very last minute. And this movie is coming in at my number 1, Lone Survivor. I can't say anything more about it. You can check my review out, but it's Peter Berg's best work. I mean, the cast is great. Even Taylor Kitsch, Emil Hirsch, everybody was great. It had a good balance of heart, action, everything. I'm pretty much repeating what I said in my review, but this movie is truly underrated. Peter Berg gave you the heart and soul of those people and actually put it on screen. And he did a great job of portraying that on screen, what these guys actually went through in real life. Peter Berg gave this movie so much heart that it affected me after I even walked out the theater. It was just that good. For a movie to swoop in, to come in at my number 1, definitely is one of the movies that I recommend you guys checking out when it comes to your theaters. So these were my top favorite movies of 2013. So guys, let me know what you guys think of my list. Let me know what are your top favorite movies of this year. So stay tuned for my worst of 2013 video. And I think we know what's my number 1 when it comes to that list. But as always guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.